One of my senior colleagues called me. I said, Venki, Rajkumar has been kidnapped. You know what he did? He just slapped me.
Oh
Right?
my God.
Overconfidence of the youth. In the morning, you can be in the slum talking to the slum kids. And then in the evening, you can actually be having a dinner with the chief minister. I have done speeches for the prime minister of the country. In politics, the only value is winnability. Today's world, there is no job security. The kind of pressure that entrepreneurship brings is very, very different from the pressures that you face as an employee. I did not have the fear of failure. Entrepreneurship is the pinnacle of career success. Have you handled an IPO? I said, no. Would you want to handle one? I said, yes. It's a plot twist in more than one way.
Yeah.
If you want to scold somebody, scold them in private. If you want to praise somebody, praise them in public.
Correct.
Don't involve friends and family in the business.
BOSScast, the making of a boss.
Political consultant is not a common job and it's not that easy. Welcome to BOSScast, and today's boss is Mr. Venkatesh, and he has seen it all. Corporate jobs, startups, IPOs, and even politics. His journey is full of practical lessons for anyone in the business. Here are 5 big learnings that you will get in this episode. Venkatesh always identified gaps in the market, whether in real estate, services, or as a political consultant. And entrepreneurship is the real test of success because you manage every part of the game and not just one role. Learning quickly from failures is also very important. His online construction venture struggled, but he pivoted fast instead of wasting years in that. You'll also learn how he managed high-pressure tasks like IPOs and ERP rollouts by staying organized, cutting the noise, and focusing on processes. Venkatesh treated politics like business consulting. He built brands for various chief ministers, MLAs, and other top leaders in Indian politics. His story is all about spotting opportunities, handling pressure, and proving that business skills work everywhere, even in politics. Enjoy the show.
Boss Wallah, be the boss.
Can we go back to the childhood where you grew up, or just a brief, introduction to that?
Sure. So, I come from a small village, probably about 150 to 200 houses in Tumkur district, which is about 80 kilometers from here. So that's where I was born and brought up. So my father was a teacher. So our childhood was, probably we were lucky to have that kind of a childhood where you're away from all the modern gadgets, right? You're in the middle of the nature.
Yeah.
And studied in a government school because those days government schools were the only option that you had. And I did my education till class 7 in Kannada medium because that was the only school which was there. But then for the 8th standard onwards, I went to an English medium government school. So till about class 10, all my education happened in villages. Then from there, I went to the district headquarters, which is Tumkur district, for my education, PU, which is where I did my science PCMB.
Okay.
I chose PCMB as a education because at that time, PCMB was like either be a doctor or an engineer.
Yeah, you have both the options open.
Yeah. So if you're neither a doctor nor an engineer, you're no one.
Correct.
Right? Those were the days. So obviously you followed the herd and finish your PU there. But then it so happened that, I couldn't do all that well in PU. Essentially, the poor performance in the PU was essentially due to health issues. So I had a lot of allergic issues and wheezing and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that really weighed me down in terms of education. So I could not even get enough marks to get into an engineering seat.
Oh my God.
Okay. Otherwise, I would have still managed to get into an engineering seat, I would assume. So that really resulted in the shift to arts, humanities stream. And
Got it.
so no regrets looking back.
That's fine. That's okay. Part of the journey.
Yeah.
So what are the core values that you think you still have that you got from your childhood?
I think one of the things that you learn when you come from a village is you're very grounded, right? You don't have too many luxuries around you. So, for example, when we were kids, we don't know where to buy toys. I mean, either parents couldn't afford to buy us toys or there were no toys available. So we had to make our own toys, right? You take a break, you make a bus, So for example, when they were, my father was building a house, I took and built a lot of toys for myself, right? That kind of, innovativeness that you pick up. See, you learn to do the best from what you have. That is the biggest lesson that I take from my childhood.
Correct.
You don't have any resources, but then you will still make something out of it.
Right.
Goes on to help big time later in your life. So I'm equally comfortable in a slum as well as a 5-star hotel.
Correct.
I can be equally competent and confident about dealing with people on both extremes of the spectrum. So
How you became a journalist?
okay. So I finished my master's. When I came to Bangalore, I finished my master's, and then I realized that the world is much bigger, right? So why I don't want to become a teacher? Somehow, I didn't really want to become a teacher. So a lot of people in the hostel, Bangalore City hostel, they said, there is this new job, sales job, let's go. So we went in for this interview, and they took anybody and everybody who walked in, pretty much. I lasted 5 exact days in that job.
Okay.
I just hated sales. So then I realized, there must be some truth in what my father is telling me.
Right.
So went and taught for a year.
Okay.
I still don't remember what I taught in the very first class because I had this stage fright. I didn't know. I had the stage fright and I was not fluent. So when I came to Bangalore, I didn't know how to speak English.
Wow.
When I was doing my master's in English, I didn't know how to speak English. And that's the case with everybody who comes from a small town.
Correct.
Written English is good.
Yeah. Spoken is tough.
But you can't even speak a sentence in English.
Because you're not used to of that atmosphere.
Absolutely. And you get into a shell because of that. You avoid people who speak English.
Oh, yes.
So
It's very tough.
But then you go back and say, no, this is nothing impossible, right? Let me go back. And today I meet the same people who I used to hesitate meeting. I think I'm far better today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the thing, right? If you really want to do something, those 2 years, 3-4 years, it really, I used to play the radio all night and then sleep so that, you get to hear good quality English so that you can speak good quality English.
Very nice. Good habit.
Yeah. And the teaching
The more
really
you
helped
listen,
me.
the more you...
Absolutely. Yeah, well, input is output.
But then how come journalism happened?
So I wanted to become a journalist because then I felt that was my calling, journalism. So 1 year I could not do anything because I didn't get into Bangalore University.
Right.
Next year I said, let me try in some other university. So I had this liking for television medium. So I wanted to go to, Jamia Millia Islamia in Delhi.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of the big institutes.
Right.
So my father figured out, he said, do you want to really go to Delhi? I said, yes, I want to go. So we went to Delhi, wrote the exam, came back, but unfortunately I could not get through. So then I said, what are the options for you? So let's get into one of the universities. So Mysore University I wrote. So Mysore University has 2 seats for outside the university students.
Right.
And I managed to get one.
Okay. Wow.
So that's how my journalism journey started.
And I got to know that the gold medal was missed by 1 mark in your journalism.
Oh, yeah.
A story
So
to...
in the first year, I was the clear topper. I had, I think, 6-7 marks ahead of the second position person. But in the second year, when the results were announced, I missed the gold medal by 1 of 1,125 marks.
Oh, God.
So that was like a photo finish, right? I was deeply disappointed.
Oh, my God.
That's it. And the gold medal went to somebody else. And I did not think at that point in time that it was a fair decision, right? There was something much more than, what
Just
meets the
marks.
eye was going on there.
Oh.
And a lot of people felt that way. So I didn't even go for the convocation ceremony.
My God. You were that shattered.
Yes. And look at the irony. When I got my rank certificate, the Kannada side, on one side it has Kannada, and on the other side it has an English thing, right? In the Kannada thing, it says first rank. In the English one, it says second rank. I still have that copy. I could have gone back to the university and said, what the hell have you done? But I said, it's a destiny, so let me keep it.
Amazing, yeah. In your media years, you also got this first award for some documentary that you made.
Yeah, as soon as I finished my master's in journalism, so so we had a teacher who, there was a, UGC had this audiovisual research center, AVRCs and MCRCs. I
Okay.
think. So they were making educational documentaries for UGC. Those are the days when Doordarshan used to carry these educational documentaries and things like that. So when the teacher asked me, he said, okay, would you want to work on this? And that was my dream, to work on television media. So I said, okay, why not? So started working with that. And those were the days when the institute was being set up. So they didn't have enough resources, manpowers and all those things. So she asked me, okay, would you want to do a documentary? I said, why not? So I did a first documentary on something called plastination. Plastination, the art of immortalizing. So plastination is a technique which was developed by a German scientist, if I'm not wrong, where they preserve organs, human organs or any organ for that matter, without dipping it in formalin solutions.
Okay.
In laboratories, in science laboratories, you might see that they keep the organ in a formalin solution so that it doesn't decay.
Correct.
Whereas here, this scientist had done a technique where he takes out all the moisture from the organs and then injects silicon into that. Okay? So for example, you take out a lung, you inject to a live, the organ, you inject silicon, and then you cook that and remove the flesh. That actually looks like a tree.
Oh, yes.
So those were the days when you didn't have, the audiovisual aid to learn things.
Correct.
This was a phenomenal thing. I mean, imagine,
Good idea.
a professor keeping a heart in his pocket and going to medical college and saying, okay, this is your heart, right? And this is, so it's so easy to explain.
Correct.
So the art of immortalizing, essentially, so that's why the title.
Right.
And that went on to win the UGC National Level Award, okay?
Wow.
With a huge cash prize at that point in time,
Nice.
okay? So
what exactly you did in that documentary, as in research?
So it was about to introduce that, I was the producer.
Okay.
So wrote the script, directed it. So of course, so it's or the producer. So written and directed by.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Amazing. So great. And then how come this Nitesh Estates happened in your life?
So I was about 4 years there in Nielsen, with a small stint in Dubai as well for some time. And it so happened that, I got a call, so...
Because it's a journalist into automobile industry.
Yeah.
And then
so automotive
real
industry,
estate.
I was handling automotive clients in Nielsen, but you are also required to work on other things.
Okay.
So work in other industries as well.
Okay.
So it so happened one of my colleagues came and told me, I got a call from a headhunter, so who is looking for somebody who speaks, some researcher who speaks Kannada.
Okay.
And I happened to be the only Kannadiga researcher in Nielsen, Bangalore at that point in time. Okay, they spoke to him initially,
Right.
and he didn't qualify because on the basis of language, lack of language awareness, and they spoke to me, and it was a pretty good offer. And for me, I always wanted to do something on my own, very vaguely, no clear thoughts. But then I said, okay, if I join a small firm which is going to grow big, at least I will go through the entire journey of, entire growth journey. So that's how I came to Nitesh. They were a very small firm at that point in time. And they went on to become, pretty large, public listed
What
firm.
position you joined there?
I joined as a manager, senior manager or something like that for
But
research.
dealing with what? Like
Research and strategy.
Okay.
Mainly research.
And what kind of research happens?
So it's essentially about project feasibilities,
Okay.
So for example, competitive landscaping, landscape mapping. So, and inputs for pricing strategies, product strategies, and all those things. That's how it started. But then it so happened that you go into organizations, small organizations, and
Startup.
if they... Yeah, it was a startup in a
Kind
very
of a
traditional term. Right? The old economy startup,
Right,
you'd say.
right.
So then you also realize that, when startups don't really get good quality people.
Right.
At least the traditional startups don't get, right? A real estate startup, very unlikely that you will land good people. So when something of that sort was happening, they found someone very competent in me, right? And they started giving me more and more responsibilities, some things that I had no idea how to do. So in fact, one of my my promoter asked me, "Have you handled an IPO?" I said, "No." "Would you want to handle one?" I said, "Yes." So when a good opportunity knocks, you take it, and you can always figure out how to work, how to do that.
Right. In your business, while you were in the starting phase, what was that one small pivot or some bold move or boss move that you took, which had a greater impact in terms of revenue growth process?
So one is certainly pivoting to the service side was a good move, I would assume.
Bigger shift.
Yeah. So of course, this was a very ambitious thing. I mean, if e-commerce, construction sector, business, you end up with hundreds of millions.
Correct.
Right. That's a very ambitious thing.
True that.
Right. So, but then the service side is the more traditional business, really. I mean, it's not really an online business.
Right.
Right. So I was quick to, and by God's grace, an opportunity also came through, and we're quick to learn. Of course, that was my first project. We still managed it, right? With a very small team, we managed it,
Nice.
right? So that was a good move. But if not for the, COVID, I think we would have been a decent-sized developer by now.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. So where did you learn all of this finance jargons and finance things?
So the finance thing, management, I already had 4 years of experience in Nielsen.
Correct, Nielsen.
So I had a fairly good understanding of management. But the finance side of it, the IPO was a big learner, right? Of course, I used to read a lot in terms of,
So if you can tell some methods that you followed, maybe viewers can get some benefit.
So in the IPO is pretty established, things in terms of, so you have a valuation, right? You have a firm, you want to raise certain amount of funds.
Correct.
Okay, so I think Nitesh Estates raised about 415 crores or something. So you have, institutional investors, you have retail side of it, how they do the valuation. It's a completely new game, right? So the valuation game is based on a lot of parameters, right? The PE values of the organization, right? And say, for example, you have certain number of properties, and if you're going to develop those properties, how much will you be able to earn in terms of revenue? So based on all those things, you arrive at a certain valuation. How much of dilution that you want to do? Currently, the promoter owns 100% of the shares.
Right.
Or maybe there were a couple of investors, so he probably held around 80-90% of the shares. And then to dilute that, to raise, go for an IPO, you have to decide how much to dilute.
Correct.
So the boardroom discussions and the closed door meetings about how much to do, what are the implications or the consequences of doing this versus that, taught me a lot.
Yeah, man.
Right? In terms of, and
you're getting to know the real business behind the business.
Absolutely. So that experience really taught me how promoters think.
Yeah.
And also in terms of personal finance, before starting anything, you need to separate personal finance from the business finance. Most entrepreneurs don't do it. Even I didn't do it. When we were making good amount of money in the 65,000 square feet property, I could have set aside something for the family, personal finance, and invested the rest in the business. But I went on to invest entire thing there, right? So it's important that you have at least 2 years of reserves, personal reserves, and contingency. Not just the monthly expenses, contingency. Right? Some medical issues, you might end up paying 5 lakhs, right?
Correct.
So have good amount of money and pay yourself also reasonably well. As an entrepreneur, you don't pay yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay, I pay everybody else, but I'm okay. It's my business. But then at the end of the day, you would be dipping into your savings, and when everything comes crashing down, you are left with nothing.
Correct.
Right? So always make it a point that your monthly expenses are coming from your business. Right? When you're raising, depending on what kind of business you are running.
Got it.
Yeah. And also when if, for example, if you're working with partners or even some minority stakeholders, you have a very clear founders agreement which defines in terms of exit clauses. if you want to exit after 3 months, 6 months, or at the end of the business, or when the business closes, what are the things? So everything needs to be defined. Heartburn is less when you do something like that.
Right.
Otherwise, when you don't have a founder's agreement, somebody wants to move out.
What to do?
Yeah. So
Can't help.
what do you do?
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important that you lay out, including the exit. No, so in India, people don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? For example,
They shy away.
in an insurance,
Yeah.
you don't want to talk about the death.
Right.
Right? Many families don't even want to go for an insurance because what will happen?
Right.
So in a business, similar mindset actually steps in when you're saying that what will happen? No, I don't want the business to end. So you wouldn't have defined any of the exit clauses, and then when it comes to that, it won't be, it'll be ugly.
Yeah, it's not good thing to
Right.
good thing to be in. Yeah.
Right. So from that perspective, it's important that one is you have a very clear exit clauses defined for everybody, including yourself. Second is, in terms of including the financial clauses in terms of what needs to happen, the salvage value and stuff like that. Third is, exit early if you want to. If you're thinking that, don't get emotionally attached and say, stick on to it. Move on quickly, pivot quickly, or exit quickly. So that, sometimes what happens is, you stretch by a year without any finances. You're still hoping that the business will come back and do well. Some miracle will happen. But then you are poorer by 1 year.
Correct.
Your personal finances are getting drained out already.
Yeah.
And you will be in such a bad position that you will not know what to do.
And
So-
nobody is there to take care of that.
Nobody is there to
You are
take care
only
of it.
responsible for that.
Absolutely. So keep your personal finance separate completely. Don't dip into that at all, no matter what. Okay? Business finance is separate. So if you're setting aside some money for the business, that's all. If the fund ends, funds get over, close it.
But when the pressure of handling the IPO came to you, right? It's extremely high pressure.
Yeah.
So what are the first 2-3 things that you did? Okay, I have to I will do this, and I think I'm sorted. What were those?
See, the mails would start from morning, right? You go at 9 o'clock in the office, and there would be already 20 mails to answer.
Correct.
Okay? So initially, you write long mails because, when you're not getting enough mails, you tend to write long mails.
Right.
But then you realize that how do you manage time, right? So my one-page mails came down to half page to one paragraph to one-liner, and even one word.
What a lovely, I can so relate to that, yes.
Yeah. So you realize that where are the places where you can save time, right? So the whole day it used to be meetings, because you're interacting with all 40, 50 people write to you, right? So you have to coordinate. So I used to maintain an Excel sheet very clearly in terms of, okay, these are the tasks, this is the status, and this is the deadline, and this is what is happening. So, and we had an escalation matrix, so built into it, and every day or every few days is to update the CEO or the promoter. Then, for all the things that the planning that you need to do, you have to sit. If your work gets over at 10 o'clock, you sit from 10 to 12, finish your planning for the next day, go back home. If you don't do that, you'll be lost.
You'll be lost, correct.
Yeah.
So that's a regular habit that you made, and you continuously follow that as well.
Yes. Otherwise, you'll not be able to survive. You'll not be able to manage. So it's important that you make a list, and it's very easy to forget some of the things. See, even if you don't forget 50 out of 100 things, you will still forget 5 things.
Correct, easily.
Right? And that 5 things, if the man in charge thinks that, if he hears that I've not been able to attend those 2, 3, 4 things, 95% will not matter. The 5% matters.
Correct.
So
how you kept your mental cool back then? Because you might burst out of somebody else who's not wrong, and you're probably coming from a backlog.
That comes from, patience is something that you learn through experience.
Were you always patient is what I'm asking, or you?
Not really always. So in my decanal days, I used to snap pretty easily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
How easily you're saying that? I used to slap pretty easily. Oh my
no,
God.
I just snap is what I said.
Okay.
Snap. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay. Sorry.
so I used to snap pretty quickly, right? Things, So but then I realized that when you start managing things, managing people, initial days of my managerial experience, I used to, get angry at the team members.
Yeah, which is what I'm asking.
Yeah. So
People do.
Then I realized that no, you can't be. See, there's always that tenet, right? If you want to scold somebody, scold them in private. If you have to praise somebody, praise them in public.
Correct.
So that I learned, over a period of time. So initially I used to scold people openly. Then I realized that, that's a glass is broken. You can't fix it again, right? Instead, so then after a couple of years, you start calling people in and then, give them feedback and things like that. And keep your emotions aside.
Correct.
And work aside, right? It's very important to survive. Otherwise, it becomes very... Of course, I've gone through the natural progression as a manager, of people manager. It takes a while. Some people are naturally gifted. Some people have to learn.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. So a lot of opportunities came. A lot of setbacks happened.
Yeah.
When the opportunity came, there was pressure, different kind of pressure. When setbacks came, there was different kind of pressure.
Yeah.
So what I see, you've gone through a lot of different kind of pressures in your life.
Yes.
Is what I can see.
Yeah.
Right. So how someone like you manages that? How paves your path through that and still come out of it?
See, it's like this. I would give this analogy. If you're driving your car, you keep driving at, let's say, 80 kilometers or 60 kilometers in a highway. Okay, you're used to that speed. The moment you go at 80, you're disoriented.
Right.
You find it difficult. I mean, you don't know how to react quickly and all those
Right.
things. You ride at 150 regularly for a few days, right? And then you drive at 100. It feels like a breeze. So you have to push that threshold, and it gets pushed
Nice.
as you keep going through, stress time and again. Of course, when you're crossing that threshold or hitting that threshold, it's tough. But then once you hit that threshold, everything else looks manageable.
Also, how does stress evolve over life when you age?
Stress are different types of stress, right? Your financial stress is very different. Okay, it hits you differently. Your emotional stress is very different. Your relationship issues,
Correct.
stress is very different. Your work pressure, I can't finish in 12 hours, I need 20 hours. That's a different kind of pressure, right?
Right.
So, and the consequences are also different, right? In terms of, and it's also very important for entrepreneurs to understand how the stress is manifested. Does it affect your health? Does it, does it affect you mentally? See, I mean, it should not lead to serious physical issues or mental issues.
Correct.
Because of stress levels. Okay, it's a stress. I mean, you don't want to end up a BP patient because of stress, right? So you should be able to manage without reaching to a long-term consequence. So
What's your coping mechanism in that case?
I generally am, I play a sport and I go to the gym regularly.
That's
so
nice.
when you go there, when you're physically fit, a lot of things are taken care of.
Right.
At least your stress, mental stress will not affect your body.
You shell it out there. So
Yeah, you sweat it out and, it becomes better. So at least it's not accumulating on a day-to-day basis.
Correct.
You get, let's say, 10x amount of stress in a day. If you are able to release, 0.9x, you are left with only 0.1x of stress.
But sometimes you're not feeling, that I'm so much, not in that good mood. Like, I don't want to go to the gym as well. No sports, nothing. How do you keep yourself again sane to that? Okay, no, this is life. This is my body. I have to take care of this and this as well. So, sports is required or gym is required.
Correct. So, see, you have to... One question I keep asking myself is, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? There is some stress. If this doesn't happen, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? The moment you visualize the worst scenario, your stress levels actually come down.
Oh yes, very nice.
Yeah. So that I keep doing regularly. And say, okay, what is the worst case scenario? Okay, assume that it's going to happen. What can you do? Then everything else falls into place.
Nice.
Of course, I mean, there are periods where, you really get really worked up, all kinds of issues happen. But you can certainly manage it well with your, regular physical activity, maybe a bit of meditation, and learning a philosophical approach.
Got it. All right. So we are talking about a new opportunity that came to you, which was of ERP.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So how did that happen, and how do you handle that?
So, in that farm, when we finished the IPO, obviously the investors wanted the organization to implement an ERP because that gives them transparency and the control and the systems and processes. So, ERP needs to be implemented. It's again an enterprise activity.
Right.
So it spans across the organization. It's much bigger than IPO in terms of,
Correct.
They were obviously, say in an organization typically, of that size, you don't have people, something called a corporate development or corporate strategy teams, corporate affairs teams. So everybody is assigned a particular role and they'll be doing that.
Correct.
So there is nobody that you can pick out from there and then say, okay, let's implement ERP. So when the implementation agency or the partner comes in, so they need somebody internally who can drive it.
Correct.
So they looked at me and said, okay, you handle an IPO, so you should be, the organization well.
Correct.
And this also requires knowing the organizations very well.
Yeah, because that's very important.
Yeah.
Know the organization really to the core.
Yeah. So you should be able to do this.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was signing up for, but I said, okay. And my desire to learn new things and the usual
and saying
risk
okay
appetite.
to what
Yeah,
comes.
saying okay to any new opportunity that comes.
Right.
I took it up. So that was a phenomenal experience, I would say, probably bigger than IPO, because here you understand every inch of an organization. So we completely built the standard operating procedures for the organization. So there were some places where there were very broken SOPs, some places where there are no SOPs. Okay, there are places where there were irrelevant SOPs.
My God.
So we cleaned up everything.
So you're restructuring the whole
Yes.
organization.
You're revisiting the entire business process, right? And then you automate that thing. So it was, again, you are interacting with every single guy in the organization. And, and it's since so many moving parts, it always becomes extremely difficult to really go live, right? It was 1.5 years of solid thing. And then even after implementation, it doesn't stop there. So it goes on, for it to mature, I think it takes 2-3 years and it was a phenomenal learning in terms of, and so now that is like knowing all the roads, knowing the entire map of a city. Right? So if you know every road in the city, you feel a lot more confident.
Correct.
Right? So otherwise you will know only your specific responsibilities and you don't know how the other thing comes. So that really helps you, because as an entrepreneur, you need to look at every aspect of the business.
You're responsible for all of that.
Yeah, you need to understand finance, you need to understand human resource, you need to understand marketing, sales,
admin,
production, admin, everything you need to understand. And here you are getting to know the entire setup of the organization. I think that was a good preparatory ground for me to go into entrepreneurship.
Fantastic. So if you can help us, what was the journey in ISB? How was it?
Phenomenal. I think I would say one of the toughest and one of the best academic stints was at ISB. So when you walk in, the first thing that it teaches you is humility. You already, work for more than 10 years. Yeah. You would be doing, there were 60 people in the class.
And you were the star in your organization.
Yeah, you're a star in your organization, right? Wherever you come from, you're the big shot, right? And you already achieved something, you're earning well. So you have that, confidence bordering on arrogance.
Correct.
Okay? So you go to the organization, you go to ISB. In the first credit, okay, we have something called decision making under uncertainty. Okay? DMUU was the course. It is a lot of probability, statistics and things like that. And I'm not a great at maths. The exam, I felt it like I was walking into a wall. That was pretty much everybody felt. So that was ISB's way of humiliating everybody and telling them that, okay, you need to behave yourself.
Wow.
This is a different place. So leave your baggage outside and come and learn. Okay? What you know doesn't mean anything here. Okay? Or means very little. So everybody was humbled. Okay? So the humility was the first thing. And the class that we had, phenomenal people.
Yeah, man.
One bigger than the other.
All ambitious.
All ambitious
All at
and
certain
already
level.
well done. So you go talk to people like, okay, well, you're the, halo around your head. And then when you keep talking to people, you realize that you're no one. Right? Everybody thinks that way.
Correct.
I'm good at something, somebody else is good at something else.
Right.
So when you're looking at the collective experience of 1,000 years in the class, and probably managing businesses and entrepreneurships worth thousands of crores, probably even hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of learning, right? The peer learning.
And lot on stakes, like you're handling a lot of stakes and
and
lot of things.
The course was so hectic that you never sleep before 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night. Okay, and you have to get up at 6 o'clock because you have to prepare for the next class. And if you don't read and go, you can't follow it.
It was that tough.
Yeah. And if you don't, get up early in the morning and go through those things, you can't even follow it. The things move so fast because they're not teaching you ABCs.
Right.
They're actually giving you the best distilled management principles from around the world.
And
right?
very quick.
Very quick. And if you're not prepared, you can't follow.
So this was how many months or years?
It's a 15 months course.
15 months. Okay.
Yeah. So, which included, 2 credits in the US, Wharton and Kellogg. Okay. So we had to travel to the US to attend classes there, take exams there.
Nice.
And Brazil, we had 1 term.
Okay.
So, and the class, you learn so much from the class itself, because there are guys who are managing 1,000 crore business, who built 1,000 crore business, not managing.
Wow.
Okay. So it was like this. I mean, I have to recall this thing. I mean, because you go with certain air, saying that, okay, you're done it all kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So there's this person in our class. So we were having lunch and I asked him, what do you do? He said, I run a dairy business. Okay. So I said, okay, so how big is the setup and all those things? It's fairly big, he said. Okay. I was like a fool, okay? How big is it? I mean, no, we are reasonably big.
Yeah. Okay.
But I still insisted. Then he tells me, because he realized probably that I'm not giving up.
Right.
So then he said, last year we had 1,100 crore turnover.
Wow.
Okay?
Oh my God.
So that's when you realize that you need to be humble. And you can't be judging people by the way they look.
Yeah.
Right? He has built the business. It's not even like he's managing. He's built the business from scratch.
All these jobs happened, ISB happened, you went back to Nitesh Estates, you served there again for a couple of years. And then one day you thought, I will have my own company and I'll work for my own, I'll work for my own self. And
So I always had that because, I think entrepreneurship is the pinnacle of career success. Because the kind of things that you handle, you need to handle everything, right? So if you're an employee, you are handling only a certain section of the business.
Correct. You're supposed to do this and leave.
Correct. So I always thought that is the pinnacle of success. So, and I wanted to do something. And entrepreneurship, ISB really triggers, right? The dean of ISB says that, I know all of you will go back better and earn much more bigger salaries, but we don't want that to happen. We want you to go and provide business, provide employment to people.
Jobs.
Job
creators.
Yeah. So that is a culture that they come out with, right? All big B schools do that. And so when you come back, you're obviously a lot more confident of doing something on your own because you understand business. I said, okay, let me do that. So that is when I said, okay, what do I do? Let me do something that I've already been doing, which is construction sector. In construction sector, what is happening, right? The e-commerce was happening. So if the e-commerce is already doing well, why not?
Which year, by the way?
This is 2016.
16, okay. Yeah, e-commerce
was doing well. So, okay, why not do an e-commerce for construction sector? People want to buy material.
Lovely idea.
Okay, yeah. So here you have very low basket value, a lot of transactions for a particular, for $1 million revenue. While, you have a certain advantage, your, basket value is very, very high. And your lifetime value of a customer is also very high. In the sense, once you get a customer, so until he finishes his house or a building, he will keep coming back to you, right? That certainty is not there in a traditional e-commerce business. So we made this assumption that, okay, this should work. But then what we did not realize is that the industry has a lot of dynamics, right? Procurement. One, for example, is the tax evasion thing that happens in the business, right? Most of the people buy stuff without paying taxes. I mean, those days, the GST was also not there.
Correct.
So things were not as strict.
Yeah.
Today, at least, things are getting streamlined.
Right.
So if somebody wants to buy, let's say, brakes, or somebody wants to buy steel, they can still get it without GST. Right? So why would anybody pay? And you being an online platform, you have to do everything in a clean way.
Yes.
That means you are straight away 15-20% expensive. So why would anybody come?
Oh, yeah.
This is an industry where tax evasion is a competitive advantage.
Right.
And you have that, handicap. What do you do? Right? This business, because you're completely transparent.
Correct.
And you're straight away more expensive by 15% or 20%.
Who will come to you then?
Who would come to you then? Okay? We didn't think about this.
Oh, you didn't realize when you started?
No, when we started off, we didn't realize this particular bit. Okay, there will always
What made you think of, okay, let's make construction things online, and what gap you identified that you wanted to solve?
So certainly, say, one is you have the manufacturers, okay, and you have the buyers.
Right.
But there are a lot of intermediary groups in between, right? You have architects, you have contractors. Most of the times, contractors buy. And they're also buying from whom? They're also buying from dealers. So the entire premise of this was you acting as an aggregator.
Correct.
You are aggregating demand and procuring it from the manufacturers directly, eliminating 2-3 layers in between. So that itself will give you a lot of arbitrage. So people should be able to buy, right? But what we did not realize is that, see, tax evasion, I had an idea, but I didn't know the scale of it. Okay? But the actual challenge was, we said, okay, now that people are finding it difficult to buy, because everybody wants credit. And these are all big ticket values, right? Big value tickets. And, somebody wants to buy steel for 5 lakhs, you can't give them credit and you don't even know. It's like in a traditional business, you know your clients, they work it out. They trust builds over a number of years, right? Whereas here, you're all meeting newly, it's online business, okay? And then you realize that you can't give credit. So what do? We tied up with one of the financial institutions. Procurement loans were new at that time. But then we realized that nobody is willing to take procurement loan. Do you know why? Because if they are taking credit from the vendor, if they don't pay after 60 days or 30 days or whatever, there's no legal liability. They can always say, okay, what is it that you're going to ask? Okay, I've given you credit. Okay, 30 days can become 60 days. Max 90 days. Only beyond certain time, they will actually take legal action. Whereas here, if you are getting a purchase loan from a financial institution, your clock starts ticking after 30 days.
Wow.
In the sense, they are legally liable to pay interest if they don't pay within 30 days. So nobody wants to get into that, binding agreement. So, in spite of us giving them the purchase loans, people are not buying.
Yeah, that was the hidden thing that
was the hidden thing. It's no matter what assumptions you make, until you really... So, that's why I say the product market fit is so important, right? First of all, I think I kind of missed doing that in a right way. So, when you're doing this business, so we started prioritizing cataloging and all those things. Of course, that is important, but that was not the priority. The priority should have been the core business. I said, okay, now I'm going to go and talk to people, or I want to do business with them. Then you realize, see, things like we had focused both on B2B, B2C. Okay, that's another big pitfall for most of the entrepreneurs is middle path syndrome. Okay, I'll do this as well, right? But
sailing on both the boats.
Sailing on both the boats, right? Then you realize that as you go forward, B2B requires a different kind of process. B2B requires a different kind of marketing. B2B requires different kind of cash flow cycles, whereas B2C requires a completely different setup, right? So I started with both B2B and B2C. B2B is the credit issue. B2C is the scale issue.
Correct.
Somebody comes and says, I want 50 bags of cement. You spend the same amount of time or probably more amount of time supplying 50 bags of cement to that individual household constructor than to a builder who buys 1,000 bags of cement. So it doesn't work out in terms of the scale. So both were, becoming an issue. So then we pivoted to the service side of it. Of course, because the online thing was both services and goods. We realized that goods was not really working out. Of course, all startups in that space at that point in time wound up. Because I think probably we were ahead of time and everybody failed to read, the writing on the wall that there are a lot of hidden things.
So we're talking about B2B and B2C.
Yeah.
So you took B2B so you traveled, so you sailed on both the boats in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then what were the realizations and then what you picked in the next?
So we started off, of course, the question was whether to do B2B, B2C. Like every first-time entrepreneur, is it okay? Let's do both. Why not? Right? In spite of all the
Let's
management
get money
things.
from both the sides.
Yeah, let's try and do both these things and then see which one is picking up and then we will go ahead. So one thing that I realize is never sail in two boats. I mean, even in terms of business model, don't do it. Because we think that we have enough time, even 24 hours are not enough for an entrepreneur. So if you're, kind of straddling between two business models, it's not going to work. Stick to one, figure out very quickly, even before getting into the business, stick to one and then do it. You can pivot later. So move from B2B to B2C completely. But then don't start doing both.
So which one you picked later?
So we started with B2B, realized the credit risk, credit issues, and then we
Even
realized...
online had that issue of credit issue.
Everybody, the entire industry has this issue. So what typically happens with the credit is...
But in online, you always had that, there's a system
but in a B2B thing, nobody wants to pay. See, we had some of the best rates for some of the products in Bangalore, in the entire Bangalore.
Okay.
You know what the customers say? We don't want the best price. We want the best credit.
Right.
So if I'm getting 30-day credit, will you give me 40 days? I'll take it from you. You charge me extra.
The demand was different of what you saw.
Correct. So we thought people will buy the best price.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, but then their requirement is something different because their cash cycles are 30 to 60 days cash cycles.
And maybe, what is that one thing that people misunderstand about political consultancy?
Political consultancy, they equate it with politics.
Right.
Is that okay? So how do you do? But there is a lot of science in managing things for politicians.
Correct.
See, politicians are also a brand.
Yeah.
So if you can build a brand for a corporate world, you can build a brand for a politician. The dynamics are different.
Correct.
But it's the template is the same. Template is the same, right? And if you're managing an election, it's like managing a project. Right? If you are doing communication, it's communication for them.
Correct.
So it's pretty much similar. So what we are trying to do is corporatize political consulting.
Exactly.
Corporatize politics.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Do these politicians require people like you?
They do. Of course.
But they understand they require you?
See, there are the old school politicians who know how to win their election, their constituencies. They don't need us.
Correct.
Is it okay? Whether with me or without me, they will still win an election in their constituency, right? And there are very big politicians who think that they've already arrived in life, so they don't necessarily go for. But of course, that's changing off late. So, but there are some younger and more educated politicians. Some bureaucrats who come into politics. They understand the value of these things.
But they also, see this, that they have to share their inner circle things with you.
Yeah, so that's a trust thing, right?
Yeah.
So
and you're working for 3-4 politicians at the same time, for say.
So for example, I'll give you the example of Nielsen. In Nielsen, I used to work with clients like Toyota, okay? But then we don't work with Honda. My team doesn't work with Honda.
Got it.
Because they're direct competition. So maybe somebody from Delhi will be handling Honda or a Maruti. So we don't directly handle the competition. So for example, if you're doing, let's say, communication for a particular client. So what we generally avoid is, we avoid doing work for contemporaries, in the sense that, let's say, politicians of the same age group, from the same community, from the same region. Generally avoid it.
Right, correct, because that's a
Yeah,
big
you're
clash.
direct competition.
Big clash. Yeah.
Big conflict. Yeah. So, but somebody, let's say, from a Lingayat community in North Karnataka and a Vokalika community in South Karnataka, they have different paths. So it's okay to man. And of course, we ensure that what we discuss here doesn't go there. Right? There's no direct conflict, you know.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed. And has it happened with you, like a lot of, has any politician has come to you and said, hey, listen, what's happening there?
Oh, no, that certainly happens.
And why not you?
No, certainly happens. I mean, it's
we share some.
So because we do keep talking to people,
Digits,
in
yeah.
terms of what's happening. Of course, there are some very nice politicians who have very intellectual discussions. They're okay, what do you think about the positioning of the party?
Correct.
What's happening there? How is the competitive landscape? Where will it go 5 years, 10 years down the
Exactly.
line? Those kind of discussions are very enchanting, right? I mean, very, very nice discussions too.
Yeah, but because your job is also somewhere related to that.
Correct.
Answer that, because
Correct.
you are communicating on behalf of them. You're
Yeah.
strategizing, their roadmap. So,
Right. Is it okay? So how do people perceive me?
Yeah.
How can we change that? Of course, that's all part of the assignment, right? So there are politicians who also kind of ask, okay, what's happening in that camp?
Correct.
Right? Of course, I mean, there are certain discussables and there are non-discussables. So we take care of that.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. What all you've learned from these politicians, meeting them regularly, and the leaders and their teams?
We think politicians are dumb, right? So generally,
Yeah.
they're not
The perception
not
is
educated, but they're very smart. See,
They are street smart, I feel.
they're very street smart. They know in terms of how to win an election. They know how to manage people. They are managing lots of stuff. See, in a corporate world, a CEO will be managing an organization which is completely organized.
Correct.
There, they are managing an organization which is chaotic. So, which takes a lot
So
more effort and resilience to manage a campaign
Correct.
for a politician.
What are the key things that you're mindful of when you're hiring this kind of a small team?
It's always difficult for startups to, hire people.
Right. Find people, hire.
Find people. Yeah. Find good quality people. See, that's why I always say, if you are doing it, your core team, the founder team, right, has to be strong. Yeah. So you need to have, for all major roles, you need to have one person. So if you're all getting it together and then developing something, there is a sense of ownership as well from them. Otherwise, you can't run the show with employees.
Right.
Their mindset is very different. So you need that venture professional.
Correct.
Right? Who wants to. But then at the end of the day, they also need to be rewarded. If things go well, very, very elaborate ESOPs, things like that needs to be taken care of. Right? Some organizations do, some don't. Right? So we had one IMB and one ISB in our team when the e-commerce thing was going on. So, of course, when people come to you, they come for two reasons, right? Whenever they're small. Either they're not finding what they want.
Right.
Okay? Or they are very ambitious and they're willing to take that risk. Okay? And they want the excitement of a startup. And when the organization grows, I know I'm also going to grow. So, it's better to get the second type of people into the organization than the first one.
How the trust grows in the freelancers when somebody like you hires them?
See, it's again, everything is a trust-based thing, right?
Since you know them, that's where the trust comes from?
Yeah, of course, you worked with them.
Okay.
At some point or the other.
But because you never know if they're available or not. If somebody new is coming in, then how do you trust that
what we do is, in terms of time management, so there are two levels of freelancers, right? The inner circle of freelancers, we ensure that we give them business on a monthly basis so that they have locked in certain amount of time for us. Then the gig economy freelancers, they will be available.
Right.
So you'll have to work with somebody that you're not really
that's
working
a smart way to do, correct.
Yeah.
Nice. So how many freelancers you work approximately?
We have around 20 freelancers that identified.
And this company is completely owned by you, no co-founders, nothing?
No. it's better that way. I mean, from the previous experiences that I realized, it gives you complete freedom and.
But somewhere you don't feel that you are the face. You have to be present everywhere. You are the forefront.
The scale is less now, so we have good revenues, but the scale is small. So we are focusing on high value, low intensity projects.
Correct.
Rather than volume business.
Right.
So we would rather be that way because the value add that we bring in is far higher than a lot of other agencies.
What were few emotional things that you did when you were having this phase of decline?
No, that's one of the toughest moments of my life, I would say. Very tough. I mean, financially, you're struggling. I mean, every month is a challenge, right? You have liabilities, you have commitments. So it's a struggle. I mean, it takes over you, right? In terms of your relationship in the family gets affected, and you get into your shell, no matter what.
So, but what's your emotional go-to things? Like you call your friends, or you go to I'm leaving this space. I'm going to some hill station or taking a vacation. I don't know. Like what?
No, see, I mean, at that time, every rupee is important. I mean, you can't even really travel much.
Yeah, agreed.
So, correct.
Agreed.
So, I mean, you're trying to save up every penny, right?
Right.
So, you cut down on your costs, you cut down on your expenses at home.
But emotional balance you have to find.
Yeah, emotional balance. The only thing is, it's a very lonely place in an entrepreneurship, right? When you're running a startup also, it's a very lonely place because you might have 8 people, 10 people, 20 people.
Right.
They're all are of different, age groups, different intellectual levels, different emotional levels.
Yeah.
So, and you're the promoter. They look at you differently.
Right.
So you can't really,
rely on them.
You can go for lunches together and all those things. That's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
But it ends there.
Core things.
Yeah, I mean, nobody talks to you openly. I mean, you don't have anybody to talk to openly.
Right.
So then it's very important to have good set of people, good advisors who have a very philosophical bent of mind, who tell that, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen?
So what change you brought in your life after that?
I realized the importance of value of money, value of relationships. I came to know who are my true friends, who are not my true friends. Okay? And I realized that no matter what you have, peace of mind is the most important thing in life. Right? No, nothing can replace peace of mind. So, for example, there were a lot of friends who helped me in that difficult times, and there were a lot of friends whom I had helped in the past refused to help me. Okay? Then you realize that you actually, it tells you who are the real friends at that time. Right? And then, your family takes a hit. Okay? Then you realize, so, you don't have money for anything, literally, right? So, then you realize that you don't need big things to actually be happy. Very small things make you happy. Right? So, today, if 1 crore hits my account, it's my day as usual. Nothing changes.
One boss move you would like to tell to our viewers that if they're in their startups or in their entrepreneurial journey in whatever position they are right now, one bold move that you want them to or advise them to take that might help them grow?
Yeah, see, one is don't forget to live life when you're doing startup thing, because life is what happens when you're planning for it.
Correct.
Right? You're busy here and your 10 years might have passed.
Right.
And you'll be regretting at a later stage that, okay, I should have done this.
Right.
So, second is secure your family before jumping into any of the adventurous startup. Right? Secure yourself financially, fully well. Third is you should at least try once in your life.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
See, if you're not failed, you never tried.
Oh, lovely.
Right? So,
Great. So you've done jobs and you've done businesses as well, right? Somebody who is right now in the dilemma of what to do, right? What do you suggest? Like, how should one go for this and get an answer?
I am of the opinion that you have to give it a try. Right? If you're not tried, how can you even fail? Right? So my thing was, one of the reasons why I got into entrepreneurship is, see, I don't want to look back at, in my old age and say, okay, I didn't try. Okay? It's better to look back and say, okay, I tried and failed. Rather than, oh, I didn't even try. Because without trying, you will be always thinking, what did I miss?
Yeah.
But if you have tried and failed or succeeded, you know what has happened. So it's always, I would suggest, give it a try. I mean, if somebody is, very happy with what they're doing in terms of employment and all those things, it's okay to continue. And if somebody has a fence sitter who is thinking about doing something but not sure, they should give it a try. Of course, the earlier the better. So it helps you, you will have an opportunity to come back.
200%. And somebody who's stuck in the business and the loop and is not able to come out of it and not able to get a solution of how to make it better, what do you suggest?
So there's no hard and fast rule. There's no playbook, right? In my own case, right, there are days when I have thought that, okay, everything is going up. Investors are coming in, they're talking about, fantastic valuations might come in, everything is going well. Then next day, things crash.
Yeah.
And there are times when, I'm so down in the dumps that, okay, there is no hope in life, right? And big things have happened, just after that kind of thinking. Yeah. So I really don't know in terms of how these things work. I mean, I think there's destiny and luck also.
I think it all boils down to that you have no control on things now.
As I always say, humans take too much credit and too much blame for everything that happens around them, right? So you're not necessarily responsible for either the credits or either the good things or the bad things.
What is your future plan for your finances? How do you see that?
So I used to be pretty extravagant in terms of whatever resources that I had. So now savings is the first priority. Is it okay? Financial security is the first priority. Okay? So you should be able to say, okay, tomorrow nothing happens. Okay? You should still be able to live comfortably, peacefully. Right. That is
so what do you do for that? Like to achieve that, what things you've done?
Revenues that I told you, right?
Like FD is 10% FD is what you say.
Yeah, I invest in gold. I invest in, FDs is more for liquidity and stuff like that.
Got it.
Okay? And you need to have, we don't get pension and stuff like that.
Correct.
So I built a farmhouse for a worst case scenario thing. Okay, what is the worst case scenario? Okay, nothing might work. Okay, I have a home in Bangalore and I have a farmhouse which is not too far from Bangalore. So worst case scenario, I might as well go back and live in my farm. Okay, and you still have this property in Bangalore which probably fetches you good rentals. Okay, so you prepare for the worst case scenario and build on that. So after this, it's very possible that I may not even need both these houses.
Correct.
If the business does very, very well in the next 5-10 years. Right? So this may not be even 1 or 2% or 5% of your asset, right? So prepare for the worst case scenario. As a business, say as an employee, typically what happens, you plan your months.
Yeah.
You get a
as a business, I'm asking.
Yeah. So they have to prepare. They're okay, if for example, somebody is a government employee, my father, he knows he's going to retire at a particular age and he gets certain amount of salary and certain hike in a particular year. So he plans, okay, let me buy a site, let me buy a farm, house, kid's wedding and blah, blah, blah. So everything is set.
Nice.
But for a businessman, 1 year you might end up buying 2-3 homes.
Correct.
And another year you might end up selling 2-3 homes, right?
It's a one-shot game, miss or win. It's
correct. So when in business, when you get funds, invest wisely. Like I had the opportunity of buying a luxury car versus building a farmhouse in my native. I decided to build a farmhouse. So what happens? You have a farmhouse.
Correct.
It's an asset.
Yeah.
It's an appreciating asset.
Yeah.
Right?
Mindful of that. Mindful of that.
And you have to have a goal. Say, somebody beautifully says, the biggest problem for humans is we don't have a financial goal. So you keep chasing money all through your life. Then, okay, what is it that you need? 5 crores, 10 crores, 50 crores, 1 crore? You don't know. So if you have 10 crores and 50 crores, what is the incremental change in your life? Very little.
Correct.
Right? So would you have stopped at 10 crores or 15 crores rather than going up to 50 and burning yourself up? So you need to have a financial goal and stop. Otherwise, you will keep chasing the mirage.
We've got this rapid fires segment, which is a cliched segment in every episode or podcast or interview you do, right? So, okay. So, 3 skills every politician must have besides being dramatic.
Oratory.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but if I have to really say, oratory, strategic thinking, and people skills.
People skills, yeah.
Or ambition, I would say. Ambition.
One thing that is common in corporate and in politics.
The basics are the same.
Okay. Basics are the same. One corporate phrase that should be banned forever.
Come back with a PPT.
How many times you've answered that?
The thing is, see, in a reporting, it can be just a 5-minute meeting and you can report certain things. You work on a PPT, you will probably end up spending half a day, 1 day preparing that PPT.
Oh my God, the pain is so good.
The loss of productivity is massive, right? And half the employees in the country will be spending time on reports.
So true, yeah. Oh my God, why it feels so personal? Okay, startup pitch you secretly wish you've done.
Yeah, something like a SpaceX or something. Yeah, I mean, it's completely out of the world and it's bizarre. Nice. And, you can't even imagine that something of that sort could happen, right?
Nice. If elections had a CEO, what's the first KPI?
The only KPI is winnability.
Okay.
So if you win the elections, you're done well. If you have lost the election, you've done 0. It's a zero-sum game.
Okay.
It's either 100 or 0. There's nothing in between.
That's it.
Unlike a corporate world CEO, it can still be 1 to 100.
Yeah. Nice. One piece of advice you give but never follow.
I think it is the self-drive. I keep telling people, okay, you need to have self-drive. But I also kind of, ease up a bit when things are going well.
Dude, you're being modest now. Come on, yaar. You can't say you don't have self-drive because...
No, when things are going well, you tend to loosen up a bit.
Okay.
You could push harder. Maybe, yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. Tea with a politician or a whiskey with a founder? Which one's more funnier?
I've been a founder myself, so I would go with the...
Tea.
Tea is too short with a politician because they'll be busy with their... No, I mean, they'll be so busy.
Okay.
Won't get. So,
tea is a longer time.
Yes.
Okay.
See, because I've traveled with former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda for 3 days in his own car.
Okay.
When I was in Deccan Herald.
Right.
The kind of things that you get to know when you spend 3 days with him. I've had lunch with him, breakfast, dinner, and traveled in his car next to him for 3 days.
Wow.
Okay, during one of the protests that he was doing. He still had the SPG cover at that point in time. I mean, you get to know people, raw format, right? So no masks.
No filters.
Yeah, no filters.
Amazing. Most bizarre client request you've ever received?
So many politicians have asked for very, very confidential letters to go to Delhi. Okay. Anything it can be. It can be about complaining about somebody in the party or writings to the high commands and all those things. We've done things like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, they still trust you with that. So,
yeah. It's quite weird to handle at that time.
It's weird, but then now it's become a common fact.
You know that if this is coming, you know where it is going. Okay. One thing political consultants know that startup founders don't.
Make hay when it shines. In politics, when things are going well, you make. I mean, that's what politicians also do, right?
Yes.
When you win an election, you secure yourself.
Correct.
But in a startup, it's a linear thing. You keep going up, whatever, or it falls. Here, it's like a curve which goes up and comes down.
Nice.
So when things are going well, take care of yourself fully.
Nice. Thank you so much, Venkatesh, for being with us and doing this episode.
If this story inspired you, take the first step towards your own business with Wallah, #1 platform for entrepreneurs from Bharat. Our app offers 11,000 plus practical business videos in 6 languages, a powerful BBAI tool that gives you 200 plus business ideas, cafes, yoga studios, restaurants, you name it, we have it. Built-in task tracking and direct access to industry experts through Expert Connect. Everything you need to start and grow your business now in one place. Download the Wallah app now. Link is in the channel profile and description below.
Bosswala. Be the boss.